All right, we the Hebrew Israelites come out week in, week out. All right, preach the gospel according to the Bible. All right, and to prophesy the downfall of America. All right, which is part of the gospel. Okay, because the kingdom of heaven can't come on the earth until America's fallen and all the other powers. Okay, and we want to we out here to wake up the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American descent to the fact that they are the true biblical Israelites. What's up? And they're gonna have they're gonna be the kings of the earth with the Lord when we come back. Alright? I'm gonna start out giving all praises to Yahweh Shemal Shai. That's who we really call God and Jesus Christ. Alright? Double honor to the elders, a great millstone tells us the truth. Shalom to the Akim out there pushing the truth and sincerity. Go to Matthew 21 and verse verse 28 through 32. Alright, because you got this guy, alright, his name is I don't know what this nigga's name. Oh, his name is Yaiquab, and he calls himself, his page is called Upstate Israelite. Alright? And he's been calling me out, right? And he's calling me out due to the fact that his so-called claim that the Native Americans, which we could thoroughly prove, which we're gonna prove that they're Israelites, he said that they're Japhites, even though he's Native American. You hear the man, we know he's a reprobate. Alright? So this is one of his claims. And also one of his claims, he's calling us whoremongers, which he doesn't even know what the word whoremonger means. So we're gonna go into the law about prostitutes and stuff, as well as salvation. All right, part of preaching the gospel is that you are gonna have men and women of the nation of Israel that get saved. All right, so we're gonna start with this parable right here, because this guy said that a harlot or a trick or a prostitute wouldn't make it into the kingdom. Okay, read this.
Matthew chapter 21 verse 8.
Yeah.
I mean 28. But what think ye? A certain man who had 2 sons, and he came to the verse and said, Son, go work today in my vineyard.
Now what's the vineyard? Hold that. Get Isaiah chapter, I think it's chapter 5 verse 7. All right. Yeah.
Isaiah chapter 5 verse 7. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel.
It's the house of Israel. So this parable that the Lord is given towards the people, all right, he gave in a parable, which is like a metaphor or an example. All right, it's like an earthly story that reveals spiritual truth. All right, and what is he doing? He's asking these people and giving them an example. He said it was a father, and he asked his son to go do the work in the vineyard. Now, the work is out here teaching, doing the work. All right, pushing the word. That's doing the works of the Lord. All right. Also, where you go teach and preach that word to, it's the Israelites. Get that in Matthew chapter 10, verse 5 through 7. All right. We're not sent to go teach other nations about salvation. If we set up to teach the nations anything, it's to teach them their nationality according to the Bible and their judgment that they're going to receive and their fate in the kingdom. All right, and to clarify that they have no salvation, it's only for Israel. But you guys that's teaching things like natives are Japhites, where this guy had no proof. One, you condemning yourself because Japhites going into slavery. They're not going to be ruling in the kingdom with the Lord in the next kingdom to come. They're going to be servants to the Lord. All right, so you condemning yourself. All right. Keep reading.
Matthew chapter 10 verse 5. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles.
Go not into the way of the Gentiles, the other nations, all right, Japhites, which are the Samoans, the Hawaiians, Polynesians, all right, those people. The Pacific Islanders, those are Japhites. The Filipinos, all right, those are Japhites. Those are not Israelites. Now you will have Israelites mingle amongst them, all right, but for the main part, those are heathens. Those are the seed of Japhet. Keep reading.
And into any city of the Samaritans into the night. Go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
So he commanded them to go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel to teach. Keep reading.
And as you go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
And you preaching to them, which the word preach means to publicly proclaim. All right? You got to publicly proclaim it. So that cuts these pastors that's in the churches, that's behind four walls, talking about the gospel. Which the word gospel just means good news. All right? And that's only referring to the nation of Israel. That's not talking about everybody. You get a precept on that real quick. All right. This is Isaiah 52, verse 7. It says, How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, or the gospel, that publish peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publish salvation, that saith unto Zion, Thy God reigneth. Okay? Let me get one more. Maybe you can read that again. This is Nahum 1. Nahum 1 and 15. It says, Behold, upon the mountains the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace. O Judah, keep thy solemn feasts, perform the vows, for the wicked shall no more pass through thee. He is utterly cut off. Okay? So when you see the word gospel, it just means good news or good tidings, because tidings means news. And in the Old Testament, which goes in line with the New Testament, all right, it said that the good news or the good tidings or salvation should be preached to the nation of Israel. Not everybody. So when the Lord told the disciples to not go into the ways of the Gentiles, these other nations, all right, nor to the Samaritans, because in Samaria you had heathens in there, okay, but go to the lost sheep, which are the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and preach the kingdom of heaven is at hand, okay? Now go back to Matthew, about the parable.
Matthew 21 and 28. But what think ye? A certain man had two sons, and he came to the first and said, Son, go to work today in my vineyard.
Which we understand the work is teaching and preaching the gospel in the vineyard, which is the nation of Israel. Keep reading.
And he answered and said, I will not.
He said, I wouldn't. I ain't gonna do that. Okay? All right? Keep reading.
But afterwards, he repented and went.
Afterwards, he repented, meaning he thought about what his father asked. You know how Jake is, because Jake have a conscience. And he's like, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Even though I said I wasn't going to do it, I'll go do it because I know that's going to please my father. All right? So he repented, which the word repent means to turn back. All right? So he turned back from the way he was going, saying, no, I ain't going to do that, till he went and he did that which his father wanted. Keep reading.
And the second came and said likewise. And he answered and said, I will go, sir. And he went not.
And he went not. And what would that be considered? A hypocrite, right? That's a hypocrite, right? That's a hypocrite. You know, that's someone that say and do not. All right? That's you guys. All right? You comment board warriors, man. You're super zealous to roam from this page to the next page, popping shit and just causing strife. But then when you get ask the question, where you at? Where your videos of edification? If we ain't, if we don't know the truth, then you can't.